welcome to the first meeting of the new year of the Curriculum and Evaluation Committee. It is Wednesday, January 23rd, and we are calling the meeting to order at 5:35. Okay, so Happy New Year to everyone, and I will be the chair of this committee for the coming year, so welcome. I noticed Ms. Hohensi is here, thank you, and she's going to be on this committee this year too, welcome. Ms. Timmons is on this committee, and she is not here. Ms. Oden is the alternate, and she's also not here for a good reason, which I won't say. We have Dr. McKinney with us, and we have many guests who I will get to. I will introduce you as you come. So if you look at our agenda, I'm really excited to have a number of people here today to help us to see the wonderful things that are happening in our schools, and they are numerous. The first one is a follow-up on a letter that we got from Dr. McKinney on January 7th asking for us to allow a grant at Fairgrounds Elementary to go through for an SNHU Celtics Tech Lab grant. And I hear that it's been very exciting over there. It's been going in. The pictures that are in our packet are not actually of Fairgrounds. They're of a facsimile of what it will look like. But we are going to hear today from Mr. Harrington and two students who are going to tell us all about how it's going over there. So would you please welcome, and would you introduce the students to us, please?
Yep, I'm Mike Harrington, principal of Fairgrounds Elementary, and to my right is Salome Castillo, and Vanessa Ortiz is here as well. So they're both Gen Yes students, and Vanessa was part of the process of getting the grant. Where they came for a visit, she spoke with another student to help us secure it.
Excellent. Okay, so if you could kind of give us an overview of all the excitement over there, we would.
So the reason we don't have pictures of ours is because tomorrow is our unveiling date, so we kind of have to keep it under wraps until then. Mm-hmm. It's probably the quickest turnaround of any project I've ever had with, this whole thing happened within a month, I'd say, and they really started doing the work and everything arriving yesterday and today, and it's ready to go for tomorrow. So it's a great opportunity. We were able to hear about it through a teacher at our school who had heard SNU was looking for another school in New Hampshire. They've done tech labs in Massachusetts, and they've done a few in New Hampshire. I know Manchester and maybe two other districts. And they were just looking for a school and had heard about some of the things that we had done with our as a priority school and thought would be a good candidate. So we wrote a letter to them. They came and had a visit, which Vanessa was part of. And then since then, it's been a whirlwind of getting ready and what we're going to get. And it's really less of a grant and more of almost like an extreme makeover of some really, really exciting things. I'd like to let the students talk quickly, and then I can talk about the specifics of what will be in the lab and answer some questions. But Salome is going to talk a little bit about Gen Yes, which has been an amazing opportunity in the district and in our school. They're both STLs, or student technology leaders, as part of Gen Yes. They help teachers, help students, almost like our little IT filling help desk requests and things like that. So they're going to be a staple in this lab of teaching kids how to use it and other teachers how to use it. So she'll talk a little bit about Gen Yes, and Vanessa can talk a little bit more about the lab itself, as she was there and present with our whole proposal and meeting with the Celtics and SNHU. So, Salome.
Hi, I am a fifth grader at Fairgrounds Elementary School. This is my second year in the Gen Yes program. I signed up because I was interested in technology and becoming a student technology leader in my school community. In Gen Yes, we learned how to use new and innovative materials such as spheros and codapillars. We also became experts in Google Slides, Google Sites, and photo editing. I feel that with the knowledge and experience I have gained through Gen Yes, I can go around the different rooms in my school and help solve technical problems throughout the day. I've gained more confidence in myself and my ability to problem solve and fix whatever problem they have. I am looking forward to the new tech lab and increasing my knowledge of technology. Thank you. Hello, my name is Vanessa Ortiz. I am also a fifth grader at Fairgrounds Elementary School. This is my second year in Gen S. We cannot wait to use the materials offered in the tech lab. We know the future is technology, and we feel like these new materials such as 3D pens, 3D printers, screens, and coding materials can help open future opportunities for us in the Genius program. We also feel that educating our fairgrounds community about this new technology will drive our school straight into 21st century. Thank you.
So I can give you a little bit. So when we did the lab, we wanted something a little bit different. We do have technology with Chromebooks and some iPads in the school. We have 1-to-1 Chromebooks in 3 through 5, as you know. And we wanted something different than our regular computer lab. So we did incorporate a lot of makerspace type of things in our proposal, but we also did need to have Chromebooks available in that room and some iPads to do it. So we have 25 Chromebooks, 10 iPads, a complete green screen setup with the accessories, like it has the lights and the umbrellas and everything. It's awesome. A 3D printer with filament, 3 Bloxels. I'm not sure if you're familiar with, I can tell you afterwards. 4 Makey-Makeys, 4 3D pens, 2 Codapillars, digital breakout, digital yearbook, and photo editing. So just to go back, Bloxels, they're like blocks where you can create video games, and you can create characters, and students can do it. So it's like a coding thing that you can do using the iPad. Makey is an invention kit. Like the example they have, you can make a keyboard, and then you could hook it up to a banana, because that's like their little slogan. You could use the banana to play the keyboard. So it's really kind of inventing different things. Digital breakout's awesome. It's like you solve one, you can work in teams, and as you solve one piece of one challenge, you go on to another challenge, so they can compete against other groups trying to solve one thing and go on to the other. And then the green screen piece, we have we got a stand and a mount for the iPad, so we can use iMovie and things, and with the goal of maybe doing morning announcements broadcasted to rooms, news reports, things like that, and getting a YouTube channel going. So they're pretty excited about that. And the 3D pens are really cool. I don't know if you've seen them, where you actually draw in 3D. You can draw straight, vertical, horizontal, and it's plastic that immediately hardens as you draw. It's really cool. So there's all kinds of fun things. They already had experience with the Codapillars, because our computer teacher had got them, where they have I don't know if you've seen them, like caterpillars, and they program them to solve and go to different places. You guys have used them, right? Yeah. So those are the things that we have in there, and the room itself just looks amazing. The Celtics sent their painters there, and then they sent their graphics people. So I won't give too much away, but it looks really cool.
Do you have any questions or comments?
Well, thank you for coming. It was very nice. You were very well spoken. I'm very impressed. Fifth graders have a lot to look up to, for the two of you being their tech leaders. It's very nice to see these students here, and it sounds very motivational. It's almost like you want to go back to fifth grade. My fifth grade was a lot duller than this.
I think this is great, because sometimes we get a lot of things that come to us at the board, and it's a piece of paper, and this is just a great way to bring these things to life. So I'm really excited to see this, and if you have an open invitation, that if you have anything you want to come back and show, we would love to see it. So I think this is amazing. I do one. Who is there a person in this room all the time who's in charge of the lessons? And
So our leadership team has discussed how we're going to roll that out. We're going to begin with our librarian and computer lab teacher, teaching the kids and the teachers how to do some things in there. They're pretty they've already started familiarizing themselves with this stuff, and they gave me a lot of the ideas. And then we're going to start having it where teachers can go to the room and do certain activities. Eventually, we're going to try to plan a little bit more long-term with thinking possibly putting instructional leader based in there to help coach as we start doing lessons where we can incorporate this to do social studies, ELA, math lessons, where teachers could come down there and have someone coach them on how to use this technology to also meet the standards that they're teaching in the class during the day. So.
Excellent.
It's pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It is.
And after school also, we're excited about, Gen Yes will meet there. We can have our, we have Lego League and robotics that we're doing. We've had coding clubs already in the past, so being able to use this from after school is something we're excited about as well.
Well, thank you. Dr. McKinney, do you have anything to add to this, or have you been over there recently?
No, but I'm going over tomorrow for the big reveal, so I can report back after that.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. This is exciting. We have a fan club in the audience here supporting. It's really nice to see a school coming together, the parents and the kids, and we want to especially thank SNHU and the Boston Celtics. This is just an amazing partnership. And so are you having a ceremony tomorrow?
So, yep, tomorrow morning from 10:15 to 11:15, our Gen Yes students will be part of the unveiling where they are sending one of the players from the Boston Celtics and a former player. They've just said player. They haven't said who it is to me yet. So they'll come work with the students and the different things and some other VIPs from the Celtics and SNHU. I think there will be some media coverage, and they do videography the before and after, so that's stuff that'll be available for everyone to see
just like a big
afterwards.
reveal, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
And then we're going to do some activities with them. I think the players we're going to use the green screen to have them do some motivational things that we'll show to students afterwards. We're hoping.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And girls, you're doing a great job. 5th grade is the best grade, don't you? I say that no matter what grade I'm in. And thank you, Dad, for bringing her. All right, beautiful. All right, another great thing. We have a list of great things happening. So our next guest is Jen Hosking. She is the assistant director over at the Nashua Public Library, which is a gem in our city. And she's going to share with us the summer reading partnership that went on last summer. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. First of all, I want to say that was a very impressive presentation, and that technology lab sounds amazing, and I would like to go play in it. So I want to start by, since I have the floor, thanking the district administration, district staff, library staff, for working so hard to make the partnership the success that it was. And just to give a quick background to kind of where we came at with this, we being the library administration, had been reading some articles in the paper about the Nashua student testing scores and just some of the things that were happening and the discussions that were being had. And around the same time, we were working with other city departments and agencies, getting My Brother's Keeper going. And it really started an internal discussion about how, if you look across the community, we're all working towards the same goals. Early childhood literacy, children reading at grade level, family engagement and learning, and how we really felt we could be a key player in this, and we could be part of the solution, and that working with the district, they could also help us to be more successful in some of our learning initiatives, such as the summer reading program. So I approached Dr. McKinney and probably made the easiest sales pitch I've ever had to make. I think I was all prepared, and I had a big speech ready about how this would be so great and all the reasons, and I don't even think I had to get to the second bullet before he said, "I'm in. Yes, what do you need?" So that was amazing. And part of our hope is through the work that we did last summer and what we're doing for this summer that we're going to create a model for the summer reading partnership that in a few years will really just run itself. Staff, students, families, everyone will know what to expect, and it will just work like a well-oiled machine. So what we started with to kick it off is at the library, we added a birth to age 3 reading program in addition to our school age reading programs and an adult reading program for the summer. And we worked together to make sure that all the programs had the same structure to make it as easy as possible for families to engage together. From the beginning, we worked with Dr. McKinney to understand the priorities and reading goals for students in the district so that we could incorporate those into the program. So when we were working towards our benchmarks of how many minutes students would read, or what we would incorporate for challenge, such as writing and reading informational text, we wanted to make sure that we were representing the district's needs as well. And then we set some big goals for outreach and promotion, and we really saw a big outcome from it. We presented, and we being our youth services staff, presented to every 3rd, 4th, and 5th grader, and that was 49 presentations, and I think we did it in a week and a half or 2 weeks. They were tired afterwards. And on top of that, we did 25 presentations at the middle school level and 3 at the high school level. And I think what was really valuable is from the top down, the message was sent that this is a priority. This is summer learning, that please make room for it. And it really had a big impact, not only from the district administration, but then at the school level, having the principals and assistant principals behind it, and then having the educators and the media specialists reinforce it after our visits. You can see from the percentage increase, it was amazing. What I do think is important to remember is that even though these are really impressive numbers, when we look at the numbers within the school district of roughly 5,000 students of K to 5, there's so much more work we can do. And we really did, at the end of the program, do some internal evaluation. We solicited a lot of feedback from those that worked with us in the district to see what they thought would work well. And I think we'll see, if we go to the next slide, some areas these numbers represent. I don't think it'll be a surprise to see where the largest participations came from in terms of the schools and where there were the fewest. Title I schools is definitely an area that we would like to work to build up participation. And I think we have some ideas we're going to work on to do that. So if we go to the next slide, we can talk about going forward. What we'd like to do is we're going to expand our visits to include the 2nd graders. We're working with elementary schools to increase the student educator engagement throughout the summer. So everyone was super jazzed when we were there, but then life happens. And so you really have to work to keep that going. And so we also want to work with the schools to set their own school community challenge. So within the school, they'll figure out what will work best for them. And we'll incorporate that into our program. We've had some district staff, and we will invite anyone else who's interested, volunteer to attend some of our summer programs or meet us at some of our pop-up libraries. And we're really looking forward to that because I think that'll put a face to the district as well over the summer, and they'll see teachers they know, and that will help. And then we're going to be doing some fall recognition so we can acknowledge student participants with certificates, and at each school they can be recognized in the fall when they all come back together. We're also working with Assistant Superintendent Fitzpatrick to apply this outreach model to the middle school level this year. We have had a lot of success in a couple of the schools, but this will just make it a little more formulaic and concrete, I think. And again, get that support throughout the school community. We're expanding our partnerships to include other players in the community. So this year, our children's librarian has already spoken with the Telegraph, and they have expressed interest in publishing any student writing that we have. So we're going to incorporate that into our program as an opportunity for kids that want to write and get it published. That'll be something they can earn. And we'd like to work more effectively with Power Scholars. We also, to try and help a little bit with some of the Title I schools, we would like to identify locations within those neighborhoods that we can do regular pop-up libraries. So our youth services staff will go out and essentially bring everything a student needs to participate, along with any prizes or anything they can earn, will come out to the neighborhood, whether it's at the school or a public pool. We'll figure those out, and we'll go out regularly to do that. So that's the partnership, and I think real briefly, while I have your ear, I do just want to highlight a couple of other areas that demonstrate the strengthening of the library school district partnership that we've done over the past year. From the public library's perspective, we're approaching our services and resources with a community share philosophy, which really focuses on working together to fill gaps for each other instead of working in tandem. So a couple of examples of that are we recently expanded our Tumble Books subscription, which allowed us to give each of the 12 elementary schools a direct link to share with students and caregivers at home without having to use their public library card. And Tumble Books is a service that provides over 1,000 ebooks, math stories, nonfiction, National Geographic videos. And this level also provides educator resources like quizzes and lesson plans and a Common Core portal. So we're happy to supply that, and really feel that if we're all the same community, so if we can provide something that the district can't, then we're happy to do that for our students. Another example is the Beanstack software that we purchased, which we're using for our reading programs. So it's an application for reading programs in the schools and around the city. The Mayor's Reading Challenge is also using it right now, and we purchased that one intentionally with the thought of working together with other community partners to develop the programs. And we're also working currently with teachers from Ledge Street to design a reading program for their ELL homework club using books and funding from a Penguin House grant that the library received. So that's exciting, and that will be happening in March over at that school.
What was the name of that again? Was there a name to that?
The reading program at Ledge Street,
Just, yeah.
that is yet to be determined.
Oh, okay.
I gave them the choice. I said, you can do something fun and exciting, or we can call it the Ledge Street Homework Reading Club. So I think the teachers there will decide. In this example, we're really there to facilitate the software and supply the resources, but we're letting them run the show in terms of what will work best for their students. And I believe they're going to do a group reading goal, and then we'll have a little celebration halfway through and a party at the end. And
Was that whole school or just certain
no,
grades?
that's their ELL,
ELL.
homework club, and the grant is specifically for ELL reading programs within the city.
Are there any native language books in there? Are they all English?
The books that we can purchase. With that grant, we have some credit with Penguin House, which is primarily English, but we also have another funding source, and they have requested through the separate funding source that we purchase some books in Portuguese. And any of the books that they choose, so they're selecting from the available titles, they get to keep. And I believe they have decided that each student that participates will get a book at the end to keep for themselves. And then they'll have some at the school to use.
Excellent. Ooh. Ms. O'Hensey, do you have any questions or comments?
This is so much better than when my kids went to the library for reading clubs. I mean, now we've got high tech, we've got reading. I'm waiting for math clubs. But this sounds very, very exciting, and there's no excuse not to have readers in the district. It sounds like it's fun.
I hope so.
I think this lends some balance because the goal is to get kids who love to read. And the more they're exposed to books in a variety of venues, it's only good, you know, and like the data's great, but what you really want is a kid who wants to pick up a book and read. So I think this is phenomenal. And I know when I was teaching, I took field trips. We were able to walk right over to the library from Mount Pleasant, and so I encourage anybody to take a field trip, and that would just, you know, give another connection over there. You always have excellent programs for schools going over. They're phenomenal. Like I said, the Nashua Public Library is a gem, and I think this is a perfect partnership because we do both have the same goal. And I'm just thrilled with all of this. It's really great. And you know, you start off and it gets better all the time. And you're to be congratulated for what you've done so far and for your ambitious goals for the future.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. No, again, we're bringing to light all the great things that are happening in our city. So thank you. Okay. All right. Next up is we have Gail Casey, who is coming. She is the 21st Century Program Coordinator, and she's going to tell us about the Power Scholars Program, which happened this past summer. So thank you for coming. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
So first, included in your packet is data from our first Power Scholars Academy that was held over the summer. And I just want to say thank you to Dr. Mosley, Ms. Fitzpatrick, Joe Manzoli from the YMCA, Dan Donovan, Gail Casey, and probably 10 other people that I can't recall right now. But as you know, this program does have some national data with it, but this is a snapshot of our first year data relative to Power Scholars here in Nashua. So you can get an indication on the growth in both, not just in academics, growth mindset, self-confidence, professional development, and parent engagement. We are planning already for this summer. We've had a series of meetings. I just wanted to provide this piece to the board. I think we're going to be coming for another presentation with more information. But I just wanted to provide this information to the board at this time. Do you want to add anything to that? Okay.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited for this program in particular because if you look up at the top with the academic gain, that does not include your summer learning loss, and I think that's an important thing to remember. So we know that like students slide back the 2 months, so that gain is in addition to the 2 months. And so what we're really doing is moving the needle for kids who are right below grade level. I just think that's pretty exciting.
And you have math.
Yes, we do. We have all the data to prove it, which is great. I'll also like to mention that, and I'll talk about this, I'm sure, at the presentation when we talk about summer, but the teachers loved it because the students we chose for this program, there were certain indicators that we looked at, and they're not doing so well that they're getting positive recognition, and they're not doing so bad they get additional supports. So we had teachers coming, a teacher came to me the first week, and it was the third day in, and said, my kids are telling me that they love me. Is that like a boundary issue? And I just remember thinking, like, how remarkable for a teacher, like the first week in, to get that much love. And then not only that, but they also got to see the data at the end of a 5-week summer program. So the teachers loved it. We have a lot of teachers already asking to return. And I just think that that's something that's not going to show here, but that's worth mentioning.
I did come and visit in the summer at Power Scholars, and it was amazing. What a vibrant, exciting group of people, everybody. And I saw the parents dropping kids off, and it was just their chant in the morning. Do you want to talk?
Well, we got in a little bit of trouble with the chant. The chant has to happen every single morning, and it's this whole like positive affirmation, like I am educated, I am a leader. It's this whole series of I am statements, and they were loving it so much that they they were chanting it like throughout the day. And so we got some complaints that it was very loud. And we thought, well, that's the worst complaint that we've had about the
That's
summer program.
enthusiasm for you.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. I taught summer school for many years, and I just adore summer school. It's the best. So, going there was a real treat. And to see kids who, they want to come every day, and they want to be there, and it's fun, and the teachers have fun. It's just an amazing thing. So thank you for doing this. And these are great results. And again, we want kids who think that learning is fun. And so we have all of these great things happening in our schools to create a love of learning. And I think that that's something not measured on a test, but that's a gift we give to our students going forward. So thank you for your part in that. Okay. All right, and we have something else? Or do you have something else to say?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
While we have Mrs. Casey here, could she also speak to the other piece in your
Right.
packet in terms of an application?
Yes, so we are doing great work in Nashua for 21st century programs. The state is very happy with us. We're doing a lot of things that other programs in the state are not doing. An example of that would be we have financial literacy offered now at all of our sites. We have 5 banks that have partnered with each school, and we have progressive programming. So the classes start at like a 101 level is what they call it, and then graduate to a 201 level. So they're in their second trimester. They're doing 2 groups of 101, and the kids love it. Parents are coming and saying, I can't believe my child who's in 4th grade knows how to balance a checkbook or knows what a checkbook registry is. The philosophy there is, why would we wait to teach them about money? They use money all the time. So we're doing things like that are not being done in other parts of the state. It's been recommended to us by the state to grow the program. So after speaking at length with both Garth and Donna, it was determined that the best way to move forward if we choose to grow is to go into both, to apply to run 2 new programs. One would be at Birch Hill and the other would be at Sunset Heights. The model would be identical to what we're currently doing in the 5 Title I schools, so it's a pretty easy application in that sense. But it would be a growth in the program. So I would love your blessing to move forward with the proposal.
So do we need a motion for that, or how does that work, Dr. McKinney?
Yes, I'd recommend a motion unless there are any questions before that.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments, Ms. O'Hensley?
No, I think we should, I'll make a motion that we move to encourage them, not only accept, but encourage them to continue with a grant proposal that would expand their program to Birch Heights and Birch Hill and Sunset
So say
Heights.
encourage, what did you say? A motion to encourage, and I can't write as fast as,
To accept and encourage
okay.
them to move forward with the grant to expand this program, 21st century after school, to these 2 new schools, Birch Heights and Birch Hills and Sunset Heights.
Okay. I'll have to work on the words of it, but, okay. Okay, so we have a motion to accept and encourage the writing of a grant to expand the 21st century to Birch Hill and Sunset Heights. Is that good? Okay, all right, I second. Do you vote for that?
Oh, yes.
How do you vote? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, unanimous, we both vote, so.
Thank you so much. I'll keep you posted when we hear back.
I would love to hear updates, and again, you also have an open invitation, and the library. Everybody's, yeah, thank you. All right, well, thank you. So when will you hear?
They are, at the federal level, as you know, there's been a lot of restructuring happening, and then that has also trickled down to the state level. They have not posted the RFP. Typically, that's done in October, and we're already in January. I did go to a 21st Century conference earlier this month, and they told me to keep checking the website. Apparently, there are about 6 signatures left. Once those 6 people sign it, it'll get posted, and then we'll have a date. Typically, it's in March that it's due, and then we would find out in June. But with them rewriting the actual application, I'm hoping they give us an extension. In the meantime, I'm writing what I know, so I'm not waiting. But we have focus groups lined up with PTOs, and I have a meeting with the principals just to kind of go through the motions with them so that we're all on the same page. It's going to be a relatively easier application because we're not creating a brand new model. We're just replicating what is working in the 5 Title I schools. So in short, I don't know, but I will certainly let you know as soon as I do.
So would you anticipate it starting in the fall?
Funds would be available July 1.
Okay.
And so that we would be using the funds in late August because we'd have to hire folks to be
Right.
prepared to start in the fall.
So you would have time to get all that ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right, excellent. They must be very excited over at those schools.
I think so.
The
I mean,
21st Century is a great program.
well, and I know you were at Mount Pleasant, so you got to work with Kathy Coxwell for a very long time.
I did. Shout out to Kathy.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Amazing.
I call her a programmatic genius.
She
I
is.
told her to hire her to come consult with our staff. She was very, very good.
She is. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay. All right, and both yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right. The next item on our agenda is informational, and I'm hoping as the committee goes on that we can get some updates on the things that are happening, the committees that are meeting. So Dr. McKinney is going to update us on the 3 items on the agenda. The first one being the Professional Development Master Plan Committee. And I see that they met on January 7th. And we have a copy of their agenda, upon which Dr. McKinney will elaborate. Thank you.
So the PDMP, the Professional Development Master Plan Committee, is a joint committee with the union and administration. It's our guiding document for professional learning for teachers and educators across the district. We have set membership as outlined in the contract. This past meeting, we reviewed our November in-service day. We reviewed some of the preliminary survey results, as well as began making refinements for next year. The second piece on the agenda was Learning Forward. That's our standards assessment inventory. There are a set of standards put out by Learning Forward for high-level professional development. So all the schools are taking that assessment over the course of this year at faculty meetings, and this committee will be reviewing the data at one of our subsequent meetings towards the latter part of the year. Our next meeting is on April 1st.
Ms. O'Hensey, do you have any questions or comments?
I attended this meeting, so no, I don't have it.
Oh,
I'm the
good.
liaison person.
Oh,
I
thank you.
think.
Oh, good. All right, that's great. So are there any results from the survey that you're able to share? Are they still being compiled?
They're still being compiled. Not all the schools have completed it yet because they did it during their faculty meetings.
Okay.
But we can review the data both at the district level, and the principals will be able to see the school level data.
Okay. That's the one that I went to, right? I was over there doing a focus group on that day. Is that the one where you had food trucks?
Oh, yes, the
Okay.
November in service, yes, yes.
It was a great atmosphere. I can imagine that you're going to get some good feedback on that. Okay, so just so I'm clear, so the purpose of this committee is just to monitor and make suggestions for professional development?
So they're responsible for the Professional Development Master Plan, which is on file in the state, which outlines our professional learning for all educators in the district and paraprofessionals.
Okay.
So that group comes together and makes decisions on that document.
Okay.
There's also a subcommittee, which is the Teacher Development Evaluation Committee, which works on all the rubrics and observation evaluation documents for all the educators in the district. So we're actually meeting with that group tomorrow afternoon. But any changes that would be made for the observation process would have to come back to the PDMP and be formalized and approved and we usually do that for the following upcoming school year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. The next item.
I know the board expressed
Important item, yeah.
concerns around vaping. So on the January early release, the all K-12 PE and health staff were at the high schools having a presentation from the Nashua Prevention Coalition on and Breathe New Hampshire on pertinent information around the vaping, the problem, the concerns. So all district staff in health and PE have been trained and have the awareness. And I know there's also been similar presentations, for example, at the National Public Library and everywhere else. So in response to the board's concerns, we've already begun professional development and trying to share the information and awareness across the district.
Excellent. Ms. O'Hensey? I just want to
No,
make
I
sure I
don't.
give you an opportunity if you have
No,
it.
we have no policy that includes vaping, do we?
I don't know. Do we? We can check.
I know you're doing education. I've just wondered, I hadn't seen that brought to policy. I don't think it's mentioned in policy. I don't know if you want to or not, if it's considered under another category, but it just struck me.
Okay, I will share that with Ms. Fitzpatrick, who supervises policy.
Because maybe there's something that she needs,
Yeah, I don't know if it's under tobacco use or another section, but she can look it up.
but it wouldn't be tobacco, would it? It's totally different or separate or
But I'll let Ms. Fitzpatrick handle that one.
fine?
Okay, no, that's a good suggestion. We'll put that on. Good. All right. So this is good. I know that we need to keep up with this. And so this is just, it's an ongoing thing. So
Yes.
yes, so it's part of a bigger whole. But this is nice to see that. Yep,
The district level as well as the school level too. Yep.
excellent. Okay, thank you. And next, Math Steering Committee.
Lastly, we have steering committees, which is made up of district leadership in all the content areas: English, language arts, math, science, and social studies. They meet 3 to 4 times a year. They're usually led by our head teachers, our curriculum coaches. So we just had another meeting on Monday, January 14th. They are doing some professional development as well as taking some inventory of initiatives across the district and making plans for those going forward. So when we come to a place when we have our school calendars set, we can begin planning ahead for professional learning for math educators across the district.
Is this K-12 or is this element?
This is K-12.
This
yes.
is K-12. Okay. Ms. O'Hensey, I'll let you go first if you have
Is
any.
it broken when you meet? Wouldn't you break up into groups? You wouldn't all meet together? I just don't understand how the agenda would work. You'd have calculus teachers and you'd have primary grades. Wouldn't it be different levels? How does this work?
Yes, so we do all come together in the beginning, the intro, the welcome back, feedback agenda is kind of whole group. We did watch some videos on good math instruction. Chalk Talk was a combined K-12 piece, and then when it says break out to groups, we do break out into elementary, middle, and secondary groups, and then they come back together and we kind of do a carousel and a feedback. So it is sort of a working meeting, but you're right, there is some specific content pieces that do have to be talked about almost in a subgroup, but then they come back together as a whole. Our office creates the agenda, writes minutes for the meeting, and distributes it to all the membership.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see what the options were for the breakouts. I'm not saying this time, but maybe next time. Math is fun. It's just kind of nice to see more detail of people having fun. You know, just what type of topics, what exciting things that they're doing.
So are those topics that are predetermined or when you say you were in charge of the agenda, do you make those breakout groups as well? Who
So
does?
Ms. Fitzpatrick and I sort of divide and conquer. So we have set committees that we supervise, and then we meet with the curriculum leadership from that group, the head teachers, the middle school coaches, and the elementary curriculum specialists, and then we formulate the agenda based on that.
Okay. All right, I think I'm good with that. Do you have anything further?
Nope.
Okay, all right, so
I have questions for what's upcoming. I think there were a few things that we had
You-
dropped.
You
from-
took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So just as the chair of this committee coming up, Dr. McKinney and I have met together, and I have an upcoming meeting with Mrs. Fitzpatrick. What we did is we went through all of the committee agendas and meetings from last year to see which items came up and which were not resolved. So we have a list of things that we want to come back to. My goal is to get to those things and to address them and make a decision and be done, like just come to some conclusion with those issues. There are also other issues, just curriculum issues in the district that are on that list. So it's a pretty healthy list, I think. So what we did is just kind of rough sketch out for the coming year what those things are. There are certain things that are time sensitive that need to be addressed at a certain month, just to whatever. Some of them we can kind of fit in other places. So there is a list, and it's not a final copy. It's just, so I do have some things. So
You at some point share it with the members of the committee, so
Sure.
if there's anything that we
Sure.
want to add, or
Sure.
if it's already covered, we don't want to burden you, but things like, I think someone came and talked about sign language.
Yep, that's on the list.
And cursive.
Yep,
Okay, and then play-based learning. Okay, so it'd be lovely to see the list.
yep, those things are on there. It's like it's a work in progress, but and it's funny because when you look at the list and you look at the number of meetings, there's one a month. I mean, so we want to be sure that fitting as many things in as I can, but it's a long year. I also want to make a focus of the meetings to have guests come and speak, and so that we can kind of see what's happening in the schools relative to curriculum. So we have a very full and busy year ahead of us, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I think so too. So do you have anything to add? Are we good? Nice job, Dr. McKinney. And he arranged for all the people to come in. I just give him the idea and he does the booking. So I'm really happy with everybody who came today. So if there's nothing else, I guess between the two of us, we have to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I say we adjourn. Okay, we can be pretty informal on that. Okay, thank you. So we are adjourned at 6:23 p.m. All right, thank you to everyone. Thanks, and we'll see. Oh, our next meeting is February 18th, Monday, February 18th. Okay, see you next month.